So if everybody can feel like your feet are firmly in the ground, as though you feel that your heels are pulling down into the floor underneath you, right? Okay. So it's an intense pull. We're not standing relaxed. You're standing with a lot of strength going down through your legs, tightening your thighs into the floor underneath you. And then if you can all feel like you're sort of tapping your pelvic bones underneath, like you're kind of slightly sitting down. Right? So if you see the way I'm standing, my pelvis is tilted back, and now I'm tilting it underneath.
Exacto, que puedas mover.
See, when you do that, you probably feel that your lower abdominal muscles strengthen without you having to strengthen them yourself. So just by doing that pelvic tilt, you give yourself that abdominal support, and that's really important. Gracias. And feel that pull go all the way up to your spine. Can you all feel in the back of your head? You'll feel a little notch right there at the base of the skull, the very peak of the very top of the spine and the base of the skull. There's a little nook. That's called the occipital point. It's right underneath the occipital bone. So imagine that you have a string, a line that's going to kind of go up the back of the head, directly up from the occipital point and up to the ceiling above you. So the peak of your posture is not your forehead. The peak of the posture is from the back above the occipital. Great. Okay. So now imagine that you're like a marionette. You're dangling up from here. You've got points down, pulling you down from your shoulders, and a point pulling you up from that back point of your head. And you're tucked in your pelvis, and your feet are on the floor, but you can move, and you can move your arms. So everybody just go ahead and move around a little bit. So just move around, but still feel that erect form in your body, but you're flexible and free everywhere else. So we have this contrast of being both having support and strength, but also having relaxation and freedom. And those two things have to be able to coexist in our bodies as singers. Right. Good. Great. So just move ahead and we'll do a little bit of breathing exercises and getting the body ready to sing. So let's do some stretching. Drop your chin to your chest and then roll your heads in just half circles, semicircles in the front only. And then semicircles in the back only. Half circles in the back. Good. And let's roll shoulders. Let's go forward first. Rolling your shoulders all the way up and over and forward, as much of a stretch as you can get. Good. And then back, same thing, as much of a stretch back as you can go. Great. Stretch out your faces. If you can massage your cheeks so it gets all loose here.
Masaje un poco tus mejillas.
Stretch out your lips.
Tira tus labios.
And then stick out your tongue as far, see if you can imagine that you could stick your tongue to touch your chin. Go, Good. And everybody's on mute right now? That's fine. So you can go ahead and stay on mute and make an ugly noise. Go,
Ok, en este momento todos pueden quitar el mute de sus micrófonos para que hagan todos mantenerse.
Mantenerse, sí.
And if I can do it, you can do it too.
No, ella pidió que todos hagan los ruidos.
Ya.
Ella los quiere escuchar, sí.
Vale. Voy.
I always tell my students that if you're really doing it, you can't see anybody and nobody can see you, so it doesn't matter. Good. Excellent. The courageous act of singing it off. If you can make your nose, your lips, and your chin touch at a point in the center of your face like this. Great. So what we're doing is we're getting all of our facial muscles stretched out and ready to use, because these muscles are what create our diction.
Okay.
The mouth is what creates the diction. The three things that give us diction, that give us consonants, I'm sure you guys all know this, are your teeth, your tongue, or the tip of your tongue, and your lips. So getting those muscles loosened up and ready to do the different things that we need to do is a really important part of the vocal warm-up. I always feel like my face feels different after I've done that. Like it feels awake and alive, and I didn't know it was asleep before, but suddenly I have all this energy in my facial muscles. Like my face is really red, and now it's even more red. So when we breathe, can you guys all put your hands on your back, just above hips,
colocar las manos atrás,
your hip bones. Right. So go ahead and breathe through your mouth, oral breath. And see if you can feel your hands in the back move as you inhale. Yeah, so you've probably heard people talk about breathing from your diaphragm before. So really your diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. We can't actually move the diaphragm in a voluntary way. But what we can do is we can move our intercostal muscles and our abdominal muscles that surround the diaphragm in order to pivot it and tilt it. So really just by getting a good breath to your back or knowing that that's there,
okay, entonces,
to better breath control, right? Okay. So let's bring that together now. So you're going to take a nice breath. It doesn't have to be that deep. You don't have to feel like you have to fill up your entire lung capacity. Just a comfortable breath where you feel your back expand, and then get your pelvis to tilt underneath it again, so that you're putting that all together. That construction is working together. The inhalation is going towards your backside, but you're also strengthened in your lower abdominal muscles because of the position of the pelvic bone. So that was a lot of preamble just before we even started to sing. So see how much we do even before we actually begin to make sound with our voices. So we're getting that into place. A good breath to the back, feeling that tilt here. This is loose and free. And can you guys all just do on an NG, go. From your highest note, whatever's highest for you, to your lowest note. Just do that a couple of times, just like we just did.
Okay, ella quiere que hagan ese sonido, partiendo desde la nota más aguda hasta la más baja. Bien.
Good, on an NG. Right. Yeah, so now let's do that again, and when we get to the bottom, we're just going to spin around with it a little bit and go as long as you have breath until you're completely out. So again, it'll be like,
okay, ella quiere que
just let it go until you have no more breath. Okay, so I'll do it with you and you guys do it with me. Your turn, try that.
Háganlo ustedes ahora.
Good. And let's go on a lip trill now. So the same thing. As long as you can go until you're out of air. See. Got it? Good, and we're going to do the same thing now. We're going to do it on a yaw, like this. As long as you can go. Start high, go down. As far as you can go until you're totally out. If you only have 5 minutes to warm up or less or fewer, you've only got a few minutes to get your voices ready to sing before you have to do something, that's what you do. If all you've got is a little bit, do those sirens. And those 3 sirens are great, starting with an NG, and then a lip trill, and then a ya. Gets a lot of things working well. It helps us to navigate the register to make sure that we're able to retain phonation throughout things. It's a really, really fantastic warm-up.